The Psalms of Solomon. This collection of 18 war songs are the gift of an ancient Semitic writer. Now, whether they were more universal, we'll have to see. Could have just been, songs getting through difficulty. I don't know. The original manuscript has perished, but fortunately, Greek translations have been preserved, and recently a Syriac version of the same songs has turned up and was published in English for the first time in 1909 by Dr. Rendell Harris. The date of this writing may be established as the middle of the 1st century BCE because of the theme of these songs is that of Pompey's actions in Palestine and his death in Egypt in 48 BCE. These psalms had an important position and were widely circulated in the early church. They are frequently referred to in various codexes and histories of the first few centuries of the Christian era. Now, I wouldn't presume that the Christians tend to know when these things are written. Later, they became lost through inexplicable reasons and have only been recovered for our use after the lapse of many centuries. Besides the literary value of the trumpet-like rhythm of these verses, we have here a chapter of stirring ancient history written by an eyewitness. Pompey comes out of the west. He uses battering rams on the fortifications. His soldiers defile the altar. He is slain in Egypt after a fearful career. In the righteous of these psalms, we see the Pharisees. In the sinners, we see the Sadducees. It is an epic of a great people in the throes of a great crisis. Now, a lot of these books of Moses and Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and all that other stuff, well, some of them, they weren't necessarily written by the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John that people think, and this is made the clearest in the Christian side, where it's obvious that this stuff was written this century after, but one, they became insolent in their prosperity. I cried unto the Lord when I was in distress, unto God when sinners assailed. Suddenly the alarm of war was heard before me. I said, He will hearken to me, for I am full of righteousness. I thought in my heart that I was full of righteousness, because I was well off and had become rich in children. Their wealth spread to the whole earth, and their glory unto the end of the earth, and they were exalted unto the stars. They said they would never fall, but they became insolent in their prosperity, and they were without understanding. Their sins were in secret, and even I had no knowledge of them. Their transgressions went beyond those of the heathen before them. They utterly polluted the holy things of the Lord. Now, I don't like that whole thing of the but the heathen, that's probably just the word for those, the people who turn their back on God. Is it Gawim? But let's not say that this is just some foreigners. There's something to it. But let's beware of sectarian fighting. Let's knock that off. There may be issues with belief or practice, but okay, if the faith is monotheism, then, if they start worshiping saints or whatever, then maybe they are sort of out of it. But they are still sort of linked to that. It's like Sufism, a lot of Sufi groups are, out of Islam, but they definitely don't want to chase them away for where they favor that. And the same thing should go for every other religious group, right? Shouldn't it be that they... 18's an interesting number too. But yeah, share in the good and truth that you share. Even if it's in a different way, you can encourage each other. You don't have to fight. And if there's wrong, if something's not right, don't strengthen people in their sectarianism by giving them something to fight for. Don't make them feel like they have to fight. And let's give a better view of the mushroom here. That's an interesting looking one, and different mushrooms have grown up out of this spot. I think I've been here before.